still plenty of time. Adam Schefter, what's the latest on the quarterback battle in Atlanta?
Listen, I think they need to see Michael Penix and what he looks like healthy next week and to see how he responds to being back in practice. He hasn't gone through a full week of 11 on 11. They want to see how he feels leading up to the regular season opener. I think that might provide the key as to what they do early in the season. Again, it was a serious knee injury that he's coming back from, and they want to be comfortable that he's comfortable before they put him back out there. And Tua's played well this summer. He's had an uneven time there. Some moments that have been good, some moments not as good. Don't think that's an issue. I think they want to see how Michael Penix feels and then make a decision once that happens next week.
You actually spent a couple days at Falcons camp recently. What'd you see?
Well, see, number one, when you look at both of these quarterbacks, they're different type of QBs, in my opinion.
Very.
You have Michael Penix Jr., who has the physical traits, the arm talent. I was there the other day, and just 2 or 3 throws that I'm watching, I say to myself, there's only a handful of guys in the league that can actually make this throw. He gives them, in my opinion, the better upside from the quarterback position. But it's about getting more comfortable on 11-on-11 drills. He's only had 3 days like that. And for people who have not torn their ACL, they don't understand the decision, in my opinion, from head coach Kevin Stefanski not playing him. I tore my ACL in 2009. I know that mental hurdle, getting back accustomed to people being around your legs and your body, especially from the quarterback position. But what I did like what I seen from Michael Penix Jr., when it was time to be instinctive on 11-on-11 drills, getting out the pocket, running around, still looking downfield to make throws, I was very encouraged by what I seen the other day.
This is a critical time for Michael Penix.
It's huge. Is this quarterback competition and situation that different than now or the future than Cleveland? Because of injury, because of lack of ability being on the field, because of a little bit of unknown or kind of what we know with Tua, neither of those guys right now do we sit here and say, that's the future. Michael Penix, I guess, has a little bit of potential. Right. But the question I have, or like the unknown is Atlanta going to trot out Michael Penix to start week 1? And the last time that he was on the field in a real game was when he suffered that injury, when he suffered that ACL injury. If I was Atlanta, I'd want to get him onto the field to experience hit, to experience movement, to experience bodies around him before I just let him go become the starting quarterback. There's a lot of head scratching that's going on at the position right now.
But that's why they're not putting him out there tonight.
But they're never going to be able to replicate it till the next time he's in a real game. Like if he starts week 3 or week 4, the first time he'll be back on the field will be the first time since he suffered that knee injury.
But they don't know that he's physically ready yet. That's the whole issue. You can't put him out there in a game if you don't know how the knee is responding.
So how will they figure that out?
Well, they're going to go by him, and they're going to go by what they see. That's the best they can do. You guys have been players. I haven't been. You would know that better, but they're not ready to put him out there just yet. And if you think about the early part of the season, look, every NFL defense poses its own challenges. But week 1 in Pittsburgh against a tough Steelers defense, that's not an ideal matchup. Now, I don't know what matchup you would have that you would say, well, that's an ideal matchup to bring this guy back. But that's not a great one.
To open the season. But 3 or 4 on the road, and then it gets even tougher. Ravens, Bears, you don't even see the rest. There are a bunch of other head scratchers in that.
I would say this, though. I think Kevin Stefanski is making the right decision. Right? Your job as a head coach is to make sure that you put these guys in the best position to be successful. I don't think that's the right decision to put him out there in a preseason game when he's only had 3 practices doing 11-on-11 drills.
Oh, I don't disagree with that.
That's why I'm a fan of him not playing in this last preseason game versus the Miami Dolphins.
Dante Winter, get in here. You've roamed the secondary for a long time at a very high level. Which of these guys would you rather see?
I would rather see Michael Penix. If he's cleared and the doctors cleared him, I'm putting Michael Penix on the field. The rust I can deal with. The rust I can live with. But I cannot just concede the job to Tua just because Michael Penix has missed August football. Tua has not made this easy for anyone. If he would go out there and play, push the ball downfield, didn't look as bad as he did, I would go with Tua Tagovailoa. But now I have to say, if Michael Penix is cleared, if he can handle the workload, if he can show me that he can handle the protections throughout the week, I'm putting Michael Penix out there as a full-time starter.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better situation. It was a one-man battle. It was there for you to take the reps and win the job. So,
and I think this is why I say the future. Both of them are going to start at some point this year. How good does either of them have to be for Matt Ryan and Kevin Stefanski at the end of this year to go, you're the guy for the future?
I'll answer that. They have to be damn good. And here's why.
Correct.
When you pay Bijan Robinson the way you're paying him, when you pay Drake London, you pay Kyle Pitts, think about all the 3 guys I just mentioned. Atlanta hasn't played in a playoff game with those 3 guys on their roster.
Wild.
So you don't have time to be waiting for these guys. So you have to be damn good right now in Atlanta.
And this will be true for Atlanta and Cleveland and the Jets and any organization with a quarterback question. We're also coming up on a draft that should be incredibly deep at quarterback, and there's going to be a lot of quarterback conversations between now and the draft in 2027.
Absolutely correct. Let's let that lie there for now. Time to run the hurry up with Adam Schefter. The NFL made a long-awaited announcement yesterday about the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, they eliminated the Pro Bowl. Again, I think some people feel like it's already been eliminated. The Pro Bowl games, let me update. The Pro Bowl was eliminated. Now the Pro Bowl games are gone, and the NFL wants to celebrate the honor of being a Pro Bowl selection, but there will be no more games, no more flag football, the likes of which we've seen in recent years.
The NFL also announced a new suspension policy. What can you tell us about that?
Well, this is interesting where essentially there are 5 violations that if you commit 3 of them, you would be suspended. The areas are a hip drop tackle, a horse collar tackle, launching, hitting on a defensive player, a blindside block. I know I heard from a number of people around the league saying, what is this? Where basically they don't even have the use of a helmet as a force in this particular case, where that would be one of the most penalized acts. And then they also are offering a player refund if you only have one of these in a certain area. So they're incentivizing you to try to play smarter and safer, if that's even possible. But I can tell you, there are a lot of people that were scratching their heads around the league yesterday based on the text I got.
You might be the best one to talk to about this. When you played, your nickname was Hittner.
Yeah.
I mean, based on what it's like now, based on what it was like back then, what would your mindset be like if you were playing now?
Well, I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to protect the players, but we're asking the defenders to make split-second decisions in a split second. And what it can do is you can make mistakes. You can cause injury to defenders. When I think about the way that I was thinking during that hit right there, I was mentally insane. I watch football games nowadays, and I say, I cannot believe that I did that for a living. And when I was on the field, all I thought about was seeking and destroying. I didn't think about harming myself. I didn't think about harming other players. I wasn't thinking about where my helmet was, if my shoulder was in the proper place. I was just thinking run full speed and dislodge the offender from the football, which we did right there. So I don't know if you can separate the guys who are just playing flat out football, 100 miles per hour, from the other guys that are intentionally trying to hurt players.
You know, I know, a lot of people know, I was hurt last year too, you know, so I really couldn't do anything like I wanted to, you know, so it really wouldn't put my team in a good position if I was just running hurt, you know, losing yards, things like that was happening, but whatever it takes to win, that's what I'm all about, and I've always been about that too, so yeah.
So you think it'll be more in, like, the previous seasons as far as running the ball?
Whatever it takes to win.
All right, so here we go. That right there is the quarterback of the favorite to win the AFC this season. Bigger concern for you, his ability to run the ball, to get back to the way he did it pre-injury, or the wide receiver unit he's going to be working with in Baltimore?
By far the wide receiver group. If this wide receiver group was stacked in the division, you would place them 3rd. If this wide receiver group was stacked in the conference, you'd probably place them like 9th or 10th. So is Lamar great enough to make that a very good football team? Of course. We've seen that through his first 8 years in the NFL. Is that wide receiver core good enough to truly be the favorite in the AFC is the biggest question mark. And that's the biggest unknown. They're going to rely a ton, I think, on their 3rd-round pick, Jacoby Lane, who might become a really good player. But that's behind the Chargers. That's behind the Broncos. That's behind New England. That's behind Jacksonville. That's behind Pittsburgh. That's behind Cincinnati. That's a lot to put on your quarterback. Is he great enough? Sure. To go win the Super Bowl, that feels unrealistic.
Agree? Is the wide receiver unit that far down the list?
I think the wide receiver unit, if Jacoby Lane is what Lamar Jackson keeps saying during training camp that he keeps talking about how different he is and how many plays he makes. And he's a rookie. He's never done it in a regular season NFL game. So we don't know. But sometimes you could just see in camp a rookie standing out. And Jacoby Lane has done just that this summer. Now the question becomes, can he carry it over to the regular season? But they paid Zay Flowers $35 million a year. Rashad Bateman, we'll see what happens with his pending legal situation, but he was a first-round pick. They're expecting big things. Mark Andrews has been great. So to me, the receivers are there, and I think they're capable of making plays for
So
Lamar.
I'm on this side with Shefty. I think their receiver group is just what they need. You have a variety of guys who are different type of wide receivers. You have the small, shifty guy in Zay Flowers. You have Rashad Bateman, who's that medium-sized receiver who can go over the middle and play outside. And then you have Jacoby Lane, the catch radius, the 6'4", the 200 pounds, make contested catches, down in the red zone, be a red zone target as well. And then Mark Andrews. Here's what we have to understand about the Baltimore Ravens. They're a run-first football team. And because of Derrick Henry and who he is, now you're going to get a lot of one-on-ones on the outside. I just need those guys to win one-on-one. Zay Flowers was one of my favorite receivers back in 2023 when he came out. Him and Jackson Smith and Jigba, that's why they went the first and the second receiver taken in that draft. And I think he's a lot better than people actually gives him credit for, just in my opinion.
Does Lamar Jackson need like that top flight #1 wide receiver in order to win the AFC?
Well, when you look at Lamar Jackson, his legs aren't just a weapon, it's a coverage dictator. If you have a guy like Lamar Jackson who's completely healthy and the offense is run first with Derrick Henry, we all know what this guy can do when he gets outside the pocket. What does he do? He gets outside, he makes spectacular plays. You can have a degraded wide receiver unit with a guy like Lamar Jackson, a strong offensive line, and Derrick Henry. So when he starts to maneuver around, there's no defense that can stop it. Your rules change on every level. The way that you rush the quarterback has to slow down. Your linebackers and safeties become hesitant. You can't play man coverage in certain situations, which leaves a lot of coverage openings in the middle of the field. So Lamar Jackson being healthy, I think, is the determining factor for the Baltimore Ravens getting to the AFC.
Agree, and obviously your perspective of that is significantly different or greater than mine. But we're not asking, can Baltimore be good? We're not asking, can Baltimore be a playoff team? We're asking, can this team win a Super Bowl? And because that's the standard that has been set in Baltimore. And if we're comparing it versus the other great quarterbacks in the conference that have the similar makeup of a team but better wide receiver group, we're saying this is lesser than Buffalo. Absolutely. We're saying this is lesser than Denver. We're saying this is lesser than the Chargers.
Is it lesser than Buffalo, though?
Absolutely.
Really?
The whole core from a wide receiver group?
Yeah.
Because we're still waiting on Keon Coleman
Buffalo's
to
got
be the dude
DJ
they
Moore
drafted him to be.
and Khalil Shakir.
Okay.
That's a better
How
wide
much
receiver group.
significantly better? Like significantly better, or
Just from the wide
I don't
receiver
think so.
perspective? Oh, yeah.
Me neither.
I don't think so. I'm with Schefter.
I
And
think
when you think
Baltimore's
about
better.
the last time
I'm gonna side with you
Baltimore,
three as well. I
when you
feel
think
like this
about
is the
the
place
last
to be.
time Baltimore was in the playoffs, how did they lose? Mark Andrews at the goal line.
Sure.
Remember everybody else around? So when he has that same receiving core, he can get them to the AFC Championship and into the Super Bowl and possibly win it with his talent
The
alone.
other thing is, we don't know what this Ravens offense is going to look like under Declan Doyle.
Right.
He's a new offensive coordinator. There's a new head coach. There's a whole new vibe going on in there. What is that going to look like? We don't know what that's going to be this season. I know that Lamar is there and Derrick Henry's there and a lot of the same actors are there. But the fact of the matter is they're running different plays for different coaches.
I agree. But unless Jacoby Lane is a really impactful third-round receiver, or
Lamar
Bateman
says he is.
Okay, well, we got to go do it. Or Bateman stays healthy and produces. The burden on Lamar is significantly greater from a pass game perspective than the Josh Allens, Drake Mays, Justin Herberts in that conference.
I don't think so.
Good, spicy, 4-on-1.
There's no way,
Four
guys.
really
There's
smart
no way.
NFL people and Dan. Coming up.